It took me a while to come up with a title for this speech, and when I did think of a good title, I wondered why I had thought so long and worked so hard to find it. It was so simple. Two women who made a difference. Let me preface my remarks with a statement of intent. While this speech chronicles the character and drive of two women who created their own special mark in the world they lived in, the narrative of their accomplishments and the impact they have had on the lives of others is not limited to women. It is a universal message. A message of why not and let's do it, a message of equal importance to men and women. The two women who made a difference that I am talking about tonight are Nora Ephron and Sally Ride. The first, a gifted creative screenwriter, director, playwright, essayist, and humorist. The second, a PhD in astrophysics, the first woman in space from the United States, and the youngest American ever in space. Sally was the only woman in the history of the space project to complete 2 space missions. On the face of it, it would appear that Nora and Sally completed their earthly orbits in separate, disparate ways. While it's clear that their career paths took them down distinctive paths, the two women had much in common. Take Sally Ride. In the early days of the space program, astronauts were chosen from a pool of ex-Marines, Air Force officers, and ace pilots. Sally got there differently. She took a different path. She answered a want ad. More than 8,000 wannabes applied for the position. Sally was one of 35 chosen for the program. From the beginning, Sally made it perfectly clear that she did not want to be window dressing in the program. As the first female in U.S. space exploration, she wanted NASA to make it very clear that she had been chosen not because she was a woman, but in spite of it. And that it was the right time for NASA to send a woman astronaut on a mission. What faith she had in the integrity of the space program. What an amazing set of accomplishments she carried into space on behalf of the United States. In true Sally Ride style, when the mission had been accomplished and she was once again earthbound, her statement on landing was about how much fun she had on the flight, stating, "I'm sure it is the most fun that I will ever have in my life." When the U.S. Space Shuttle Challenger exploded in January of 1986, Sally Ride was named to the commission that investigated the disaster. She spoke out when she felt it was needed. For example, she defended the engineer who had sent multiple warnings about safety hazards on the Challenger, messages that had gone unheeded. During her lifetime, Sally Ride was a scholar, an astronaut, a fun lover, a dedicated member of the U.S. space team, a mentor to young people interested in the sciences, most notably astrophysics. She has left her mark in the sciences, space exploration, and perhaps most importantly, she has been both mentor and inspiration for young Americans interested in the sciences. Next we come to Nora Ephron. Now Nora took a different path down her many roads. She was a journalist, essayist, novelist, playwright, Oscar-nominated screenwriter, and movie director, one of the first women directors to achieve acclaim. In her book of essays, entitled, and I love this title, "I Feel Bad About My Neck," Nora's burning existential question was, why do people who write books say that it's better to be older than younger? She went on to say, even if you have all your marbles, you're constantly reaching for the name of the person you met the day before yesterday. Nora began writing in college, and after graduation, she moved to New York City and intended on becoming a journalist. Her first job was not exactly a stepping stone to a journalistic career. She landed a job as mail girl at Newsweek magazine. She did succeed, however, in writing a piece for the substitute New York Post during the newspaper strike of 1962. An effort which later earned her a tryout for the Post, that is the New York Post, when the strike was settled. Later, in the 1960s, she turned to magazine journalism. Her articles were characterized by humor and honesty and written in an understated style. She got into the movie business by accident. Her first screenplay was for Silkwood, a film directed by Mike Nichols, a good friend and the first director to recognize her writing talent. Her next movie, Heartburn, was an adaptation of her own novel of the same name. But it wasn't until Harry Met Sally, her next movie, that she was established as the Nora Ephron, one of Hollywood's premier screenwriters. However, Nora understood from observing her parents' careers that screenwriters had little or no control over their creations. Directors called the shots. And in true Nora Ephron style, she made the decision to become a director. Her first effort as a director was not well received by the movie going public, but she didn't give up. She made a second movie called Sleepless in Seattle, which she directed and co-wrote. She received both critical and popular acclaim for this movie, and it is now considered a classic. Her last movie, Julie and Julia, with Meryl Streep playing Julia Child, was released in 2009, and it too received both popular and critical acclaim. You may well ask, what do Sally Ride and Nora Ephron have in common? Well, believe it or not, there are quite a few things they have in common. Both have faced life-threatening illnesses with courage, fortitude, and grace. Both of them lived as fully as possible until they died. Both of them were willing and eager to face new challenges and opportunities, and to create opportunities where none existed. Both of them demonstrated intelligence, imagination, creativity, and sense of humor. Both of them bettered the lives of their fellow human beings through the use and sharing of their unique gifts and talents. As I mentioned at the beginning of this speech, I truly believe that both these people have left a legacy for all of us. There's an old saying, think outside the box. Both Sally and Nora are splendid examples of those who have not embraced the status quo, but who have wandered down paths of their own creation. From all of us at Words of Mouth, thank you, Sally Ride. Thank you, Nora Ephron, for enriching our lives and the lives of all those who have benefited from your gifts and your talents.
Thank you, Carole. That was wonderful. Our third speech tonight is by Marvel, and her evaluator, Alva, is going to be looking for